Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to talk about one of the most powerful, dangerous, and feared men in history, Genghis Khan. His name brought terror to millions. Wherever he went, he left nothing but destruction. He built the largest empire in the world, but at a terrible cost. He is said to have killed at least 40 million people, men, women, children, even animals. No one was spared. Kingdoms fell, cities burned, and entire civilizations were wiped out. But how did a poor boy, born in a harsh land, become the most feared warrior in history? How did a simple child, who had nothing, rise to control half of the world? This is the real story of Genghis Khan, a story of power, betrayal, bloodshed, and destiny. And most importantly, this story will help you improve your English and vocabulary. So listen carefully. If you read this aloud, your pronunciation and fluency will improve. Reading helps you understand past tenses and sentence structure. Speaking practice. Try reading this story out loud. Our story begins in the year 1162, in the cold, endless grasslands of Mongolia. There was no comfort, no warmth, and no safety. Life was hard. People lived in small tents, moved from place to place, and fought each other for food and land. In this brutal world, a boy was born. His name was Tempting, the boy who would one day be known as Genghis Khan. His father, Yeske, was a tribal chief, a strong warrior. When Tempting was born, his father had just defeated an enemy leader named Tempting Huge. As a tradition, he named his son after the defeated enemy to show that he had power over him. Tempting was not born into peace. He was born into war and blood. And from the moment he opened his eyes, he had to fight to survive. The Mongolian plains were merciless. There were no cities, no schools, and no hospitals, only open land, violent tribes, and freezing winters. If you were weak, you died. If you were strong, you fought. Tempting grew up in a small family tent, living with his parents, his 3 brothers, his sister, and his half-brother. They had very little food, only drinking horse milk and eating wild animals when they could catch them. But there was one rule in Mongolia: if you are strong, you lead. If you are weak, you die. And this rule would soon change Tempting's life forever. The death of Yeske. One day, when Tempting was around 9 years old, his father, Yeske, was poisoned by enemies. Yeske had made the mistake of eating food given by a rival tribe. As soon as he ate, he fell to the ground, coughing blood, his body shaking. He knew he was dying. He looked at his son, Tempting, and said, "Son, you must be strong. You must never trust anyone. If you are weak, they will kill you." And with those last words, his father died. Tempting, his mother, and his siblings were now alone. They were abandoned by their own tribe. Their own people betrayed them. Tempting's mother, Holunch, was a strong woman, but no one wanted to follow a widow and her small children. The tribe threw them out, leaving them to starve. Tempting, his brothers, and his mother were now beggars. They lived in the wild, eating rats, birds, and even insects to survive. The Mongolian winters were deadly. The cold was so intense that their fingers would turn blue and their lips would bleed. But Tempting never forgot his father's words, "You must be strong." And one day, something happened that would change him forever. Temujin's first kill. Tempting had an older half-brother named Better. As the eldest, Better thought he was in charge. He would steal food from the family, taking the best meat and leaving the rest to starve. Tempting hated him. One day, as Better once again took their food, Temujin's anger exploded. His eyes turned dark. His heart became stone. He picked up a bow and arrow, aimed it at his brother, and shot him dead. His own blood spilled onto the ground. But Temujin felt no regret, no sadness. He looked at the lifeless body of his brother and said to himself, "Star. If I want to survive, I must kill. If I want power, I must take it. That day, Temujin became a warrior.